Okay, so we're working on factoring when our a value is not 1, right? So yesterday and the other lessons, this is our a value. This time it is a number that's not 1. It's 2, correct? So which way is our concavity? It's up, okay. So make sure we remember that. The first thing I want you to try and do is see if you can divide that number out of all 3 terms. If you can, it's easier. And we're going to go over why it's easier in a little bit. I'm actually doing this first on 2 different ways. The easy way and then the harder way. Because there are questions like this one that this 2 cannot be divided out of all 3 terms. So we have to do it the hard way. Alright, so once again, I'm going to do the first question the easy way, and then the hard way, and then I'll do another question the hard way. So let's start here. So identify the a value, which is 2. So we're going to pull that out. We're going to divide 2 into all 3 of those numbers. So 2 times what is 2x squared? 2 times what is 2x squared? It's just x squared, or 1x squared. We're missing an x squared. All right? Now 2 times what is negative 20x? Okay, so back to the question. If 2 times what is negative 20x? Negative 10x. And finally, 2 times what is 32? Positive 16. And if you don't know that, just do 32 and divide by that number. 32 divided by 2 is 16. All right, so now, is our a value 1? It is. Okay, our a value is 1, so we can go straight into the cross method. Remember, the top is a times c, and the bottom value is b. A times c is 1 times 16, which is, and then our b value is in the bottom, which is negative 10. So now we do a factor tree of 16. Hopefully this stuff is relatively reviewed from yesterday and the previous week. There's our factor tree. How do we get to 10? 8 plus 2, right? But we want to get to negative 10. So what must our numbers be? They're both negative. Okay, because if they're both negative, they still multiply to 16, and they both add to negative 10. Now this is the most important thing. When our a value is 1, we're done with the problem now. We already have our factors. It's simply x minus 2, I'm running out of space here, and x minus 8. With a 2 out front. Don't forget that 2. It's very important. Now, when the a value is not 1, there's an extra step. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Okay? So I'll wait for you guys to write this down, and then I'll move on. Okay, so now let's do it the harder way. I left my answer here so we can compare our answers, make sure we get the same one, which we will, but I just want to leave that just so you know. This time we're not going to divide the 2 out. So we're going to go back into a times c. So 2 times 32 is 64. And our b value is negative 20. So once again, make a factor tree. I'll do it in red, just make it different. So 1 times 64, 2 times 32, 3 does not go into it, 4 does, 16 times, and finally 8 times 8. Right, so which numbers here add to 20 or negative 20? It'll be negative 4, negative 16, right? And now this is an extra step that we did not do previously. We cannot just go straight into the x minus 4, x minus 16. Because we have an a value that is 2. So now we're going to do this thing called reverse box. All right, now I'm going to try to make this obvious. So this term goes in this box. This back term goes on the bottom box, and then the numbers we just discovered will go in either of these 2 boxes. The blue ones can go back and forth. It doesn't matter where you put them. So in this top left box, we have 2x squared. In the bottom green box, we have positive 32. And then the blue boxes, we have the negative 4 and negative 16. And one thing we need to add to those is the variable, the x behind it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and factor out going up. I always like to go up this direction. Technically, you can do it in any way you want. I always just go this direction. So 2x squared and negative 16x. What can we factor out of both 2x squared and negative 16x? X is correct, and something else. A 2. They're both even, and there's an x in both of them. So we can pull out a 2x. All right? I'll erase this arrow, just get out of the way. Now, this term, 2x, times what is 2x squared? Just an x. Yeah, we're just missing an x. What we're looking for is this term times that term equal that term? And the answer is it does. Now, x times what is negative 4x? Just negative 4. We already have the x. Just a negative 4. And then negative 4 times what is 32? Negative 8. Very good. And then if you check this last one, is negative 8 times 2x negative 16x? It does. We have our factors. So we have 2x minus 4. Hey, you're getting ahead of me here, buddy. Good job, though. So are those the same answer? They look different, but they are the same answer. Okay? We have the x minus 8. That matches up. And then this has a 2 in both terms. So we could technically pull this 2 out of both terms, and that becomes just a regular x. And this 4 becomes a, negative 2. And now it matches. Okay? So, which way was easier, the first way or the second way? First way, right? So always try and divide that 2 out if you can. And one, this factor tree is way easier. And you don't have to do this reverse box step. Okay? You want to write this down? We good to move on? Okay, let's go to 5 now. All right, so first term is 1. It's 2. And I mentioned it before, we cannot divide this into all the terms. So we cannot pull out a number, so we just go straight into the x method. A times c is negative 30. And our b value is negative 13. So a factor tree of 30. 1, 30, 2, 15, 3, 10, and 5, and 6. So we know our number's negative, so we have one of our terms will be negative, and they need to add to negative 13. So it's going to be these ones right here, right? And then 15 will be negative. Okay? So 3 and 10, that adds to 13, but 1 needs to be negative. So it won't be 3 and 10. It looks like it's that one, but it's not. It's the 2 and negative 15. So positive 2, negative 15. Now we do a reverse box method. Because our a value is not 1, so we need to do the step. And once again, this term goes up here. Our c term goes in the bottom right. And these numbers that we just discovered go here and there. So let's fill it in. (2x squared) is there. Negative 15 is here. And our blues are here with a variable behind it. Sorry, ignore that little. That was a mistake. And with an x. Okay. All right, now we're going to factor going up. What can we factor out of 2x squared and negative 15x. It's not 2. 2 does not go into 15. It's just an x, yeah. Just an x comes out. Now let's work our way around. X times what is 2x squared? We're missing a 2x. Then 2x times what is positive 2x? Just 1. We already got everything we need. And last one is 1 times what is negative 15? Negative 15. And check our last box. Is negative 15 times x negative 15x? It is. So we did it right. So this is equal to x plus 1 times 2x minus 15.